George, it is so cool to meet you and congratulations on this film.
Oh, thank you.
I have to say, I have mixed feelings when it comes to Ned Kelly.
Yeah.
You know, being Australian, we're told this is one of our icons, and then where they're going, but how can we respect a bushranger, a robber, a killer? How do you feel about him after starring in this film?
I feel like it's funny because I've got a very personal connection to my experience of making this film, but the point of this film is that it's, who knows if it's true or not. And I think our attitude with that is we're being true to our idea of him,
Yeah.
and that is kind of making, I guess, people look at why they're true to this idea of someone else, because none of us actually know him. And it's the way that his name, his image, and his story has kind of been appropriated to mean so many things, and that it's just a given that it's used for those things now, and so therefore people don't investigate why. Why did we pick that man? Why is it his story that makes sense to us? And it's not a right or wrong reason why people do that, but just why. And so I don't have a clear answer on him because I didn't know him. I think there are amazing things that he did, and I have a respect for the life that I imagined that he led and the hardships of it. But by the same token, if my dad was someone that crossed his path and didn't come well off, from meeting him, I couldn't say I would have loved him. So it's a politician's answer there, but I don't have one.
Well, look, what we do know is that Ned Kelly had the bushiest beard going.
Yeah.
You couldn't grow that beard.
Yeah, this is probably 6 months growth right now.
Were you nervous that you were going to miss out on the part because you couldn't grow this beard?
I genuinely, I remember, it's like, truly, because Justin gave us this, it was the most immersive experience ever, and he gave me this, Justin the director, this amazing list of things to do. And I was like, you've got to become this man. And I was like, okay, and I was so ready to do that. But also the first stage direction of Ned, when I play him, was Ned, 24, a mighty beard. And I'm sat there with something like this, going and I thought I was going to lose the job. Because also when I met Justin, I'm Skyping Justin, and he's got a beard like that. And I'm thinking, I remember saying Just, I can't grow Ned's beard. He's like, well, just don't shave, you don't have to have his beard, it'd be ridiculous. But I was like, no, I can't, I'm not going to get close. He was like, really? I will give you a mullet instead then. So so in a way, there's sort of, as much as I kind of did have a moment of thinking I'm going to lose this job, it freed it up. I think Justin's idea with this always was to kind of shake off the ties that bind this interpretation. Anyone interpreting Ned Kelly because of how much reverence he's held with in Australia, but the fact that immediately I can't look like him, or I don't look like him, or it would cost a big sort of fake thing to put on front, it frees you up for this to be this new idea of it, which is the point of the story.
Yeah. I love that Justin does think outside the box, though, and, when you talk about prepping for this role, you had to get physically ready, and you'd think you'd be living in the bush, chopping wood, but he tells you to form a punk band and perform at a Melbourne pub in front of 350 people.
Yeah.
Why and how was that experience for you?
Why, I think, is it's all about attitude mainly.
Yeah.
I think he wanted us to listen to each other in a certain way, in the way that you do when you're playing music. He wanted us to open up and sort of share these songs, and one of the things he got me to do always was write. He said, just write as Ned. Start writing poems, diaries, just write. He's a wordsmith. He's trying to articulate himself. So write. And the whole film is kind of, the spine of it is this voiceover of this history that he's writing to his daughter, so he's trying to articulate himself. And so there was the songwriting aspect of it, but mainly it's an attitude. I think it's a swagger, and it's a kind of anti-establishment step forward, and we felt that when we did the gig. We felt like we'd created something that was our own. We wrote these 10 songs, and 2 of them are in the film, and it was something that we had created that no one else could touch, and that gives you a real sense of yourself,
You did the Kelly Gang before you went and did 1917, and
Yeah.
I've seen you say emotionally, I don't think I could have played Schofield without the experience of playing Ned Kelly. Why is that?
I think because Ned is like a really... This film means so much to me, and working with Justin does. But in a sense, because I gave it everything, like a really kind of emotionally and physically, kind of really, everyone threw themselves at it. And by the end of it was really kind of strung out. And I remember the last few weeks, like thinking, and I know we're not going down a mine, we're not going to war, but I was thinking, like, I've only got energy to do this thing, and this character has sort of become, I know him better than myself at the minute.
Wow.
And I can't, if I talk to home, which is what I want to do more than anything, I'll unravel, and I won't put myself back together if I do. So that feeling of like, I've got the energy to do this and I can function if I do this, but I can't go towards the thing that I want more than anything at the minute, which is home, and which is sort of connection outside of this. That is the first audition that I had for Schofield. There's a scene in the film where he's operating as a soldier who's been through some stuff, and his way of operating is to stay calm, is to conserve always. And he's being asked about his family, like, why don't you go home? Why don't you give this to your family? What about this? What about this? What about this? And he begins to try and explain, and he has to pull back. And that was the first scene I read of 1917, and that made so much sense to a way of getting through something that you're finding difficult, that was my interpretation of Schofield.
This film is amazing, but 1917, wow, like totally blew me away. I'm not into war films, and I was gripped. What was that experience like for you? Not only just filming that, but everything that came with it afterwards, getting to go to the BAFTAs, getting to go to the Oscars, getting to celebrate a film with your co-workers.
It's amazing. It's I guess that, like, the thing that kind of comes to mind with that whole experience then to sort of is alignment, is in the way that it was an amazing lesson in collaborating with people, and how the way that Ned was a shared experience, but it was also quite isolating in a way that it sort of was about sort of me becoming this other person to then be in this environment, where 1917 is, because everything with filming it in this long take, everything had to match up, and there was never a lead element. Everyone had to do their jobs together and have those jobs working in harmony, and it gave you this three-dimensional awareness of the working process. And every take was about an alignment, where the camera move spun just right and the performance was okay, and your move, so it was like this dance. And then by the same token, that alignment carried across to something that we all worked hard at and we gave our all to. And it's a beautiful thing when that is received well as well, which is out of your hands, but I guess in a way that sort of positive alignment is a form of alignment as well. Not saying that it should have or it shouldn't have, but it's just the way it was, where some of the time you make a film that you give your all to, and no one sees it or no one likes it, and that is what it is. But with this, it was a beautiful thing. That's a job that means so much to you is also then, respected and cared for by people when they go and see it.
Well, I'm glad that you celebrated that and that you're giving us work like you do. Cannot wait to see what you do next.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.